VAR. Has it ruined the game? Let's get into it.
Kicking way to do so. Can it's him. Back to Balotelli. It runs for Aguero. They've done it!
Hazard still on the ground as Charlie Adam goes for goal here. Oh, and he scored!
And was by Stones. And Ross Townsend!
A field of minutes. And Aaron Ramsey starts and ends an immaculate.
Trying to find a way through.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to Golden Goal TV. I am one half of your dynamic duo for this evening. My name is Abdullahi, and I'm joined by the gorgeous one, my better half for this evening, gorgeous George. How you doing, my friend?
Evening, mate. I'm all good. At first, when you started the intro, I thought you were going to start saying EA Sports is in the game.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'm all good. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting show.
It will be a very interesting show. The panel for tonight, we've got a new face. Ray, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hello, thanks for having me. It's nice to meet you all. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. There's so much to talk about, isn't there? So yeah,
how you doing?
Let's get stuck in. Yeah, I'm all good, mate. I'm all good. I support Arsenal, so still a little bit down from yesterday, but I'm sure this therapy will help me get over it. And
Still top of the league, mate. Don't worry about it.
And we're still top of the league for now, yeah.
Don't worry. Nicky P, he's becoming a regular on the show. How you doing, man?
I'm doing very well, thank you, Abdi. Disappointing was still, but pleased with Newcastle's performance so far this season.
And back in the producer chair, Sammy boy, how you doing? Back from Manchester.
How are you? Yeah, back from Manchester. It was a bit of a kick in the teeth to kind of have to see the result and then stop at the service station and there'd be crowds of Man United fans. So it was just like
You go back to London, mate.
I was starting to feel a little bit better, then bang, straight back down to earth again.
Yeah. All right. No, don't worry. There's plenty of time to dissect all of that later on in the show. But starting off, the opening game of the week or weekend was the Merseyside derby, and it ended 0-0. It was one of those games where George was just asleep. He slept right through.
I actually fully was.
You fully was. Nicky P, I'm going to start off with you, my friend. What were your thoughts on the Merseyside derby? Yeah, what was your thoughts?
It was a very good game, and both teams played really well. Everton had a lot of intensity, and they had some good chances for both teams, but they just couldn't. The goalkeepers were in absolute great form. Like, they saved low shots. Liverpool hit the frame of the goal 3 times. How they didn't score, I have no idea. And then Everton goal disallowed. That wasn't controversial. He was offside. Cody was offside too.
Made a bloody change.
That was a fair decision. It was debatable. Van Dijk could have been wrecked off Van Dijk, but I thought it was like replays made was more worse than in real time. So I had no qualms with the yellow card, but it was a very good game. But I think the spectators in the stands' behaviour was despicable. The fact they threw the bottle at Jurgen Klopp, I don't think that was needed for, and I hope they find the person who threw that and deal.
They threw a bottle at who?
Jurgen Klopp. There was a beer bottle that hit Jurgen Klopp.
It's only Klopp.
But it's not called for.
Nah.
No, you're always going to find those idiots that are doing stupid
Probably
stuff.
a Liverpool fan.
Probably. they couldn't even get into the game when it kicked off. There was a bunch of them standing outside, probably with a ticketing or something. But
Been there before, haven't they?
Turnstiles might not be working.
No. Sam, the Van Dijk challenge, the people were saying should have been a red. If it was certain other players, it would have been a red. Do you think it was a red, or do you think it was fair to be yellow?
I'm a bit torn on it because I can see what people are saying and why people would say it's a red because of the way he put his foot in. But I think it was made to look worse by the amount of times they slowed it down. I also think that's not in Van Dijk's nature to be like that. He's a very professional sort of player. So I think that both of those factors were taken into account and given a yellow for.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I didn't think personally it was a red as well. I think because of the nature of it and the way that his foot was lower. If it was higher up on like the shin or the knee, that would have been a straight red. But because it was lower down on the foot, it wasn't as severe. It wasn't a nice challenge, but I wouldn't say it was warranted to be a red.
There was also one that wasn't talked about. Tarkovsky made a really bad challenge. It was
Great challenge.
It was a quite similar one, to be fair. So I think that was probably also taken into account, the fact that one got a yellow as well.
Right, I'm going to come to you with Everton. They had a difficult season last year, and coming into this season, they've brought in some reinforcements for the midfield. Onana, Idrissa Gueye coming back.
What's his name?
Onana. Boy. And then after they brought in Neil Maupay from Brighton as a striking option for the injured Dominic Calvert-Lewin. How do you rate them going forwards? And is this something for them to build off, because they had a good defensive performance?
Yeah, I mean, looking at Everton this season, obviously they did struggle last season and they've lost Richarlison, probably the most influential player. But they brought in a lot of good, well, I say good, but a lot of Premier League proven players, right? Players that have played in this level. And then their big money signing, Onana, has a lot of potential. So I think they'll be okay. I'm still not convinced about Lampard. I think he's a good coach, but I don't know whether he's got what it takes to take Everton to probably where they feel like they should be. But I mean, in the game isolated incident alone, I thought they were pretty impressive, and I'm not really sure what's happened to Liverpool at the start of this season, whether or not they're just sort of trying to adjust without Mane, and they obviously are missing a few other players. But yeah, I mean, it was an interesting game, I guess, and I'm sure Everton will be buzzing with a point. I know Jordan Pickford after the game certainly was. So yeah, like I said, I think they'll be all right. But I do think they'll finish sort of top of the bottom, if that makes sense. They'll sort of finish around the 11th or 12th.
Yeah, that's fair. Georgie boy, with what is going on with Liverpool?
You laugh because I don't pull no punches about Liverpool.
No, you don't. Liverpool so far, what is it? A poor start for them. They've had
bottle jobs, mate.
It was 2 wins, 3 draws, and 1 loss. So yeah.
Yeah, I think they've been found out. Like that midfield has definitely been found out. That midfield's been auditioning for an episode of Dad's Army. It's that old. So, they've brought in Arthur Melo. Probably be a good signing for them. Can't be any worse than what they've had.
You never know.
It can't be worse than old Hendo, can they? James Milner, how old is he? About 72?
73, I think, actually, George. 73.
Sorry, 73, mate. I remember Milner playing when Thierry Henry was playing. So that's how old he is. And I think Mane's more of a big loss for them than they realise. Elmeni, B-Tech Elmeni, he ain't doing it, is he? So Salah, he's just, I don't know, it's just, they look so disjointed and fair play to Everton. They done well from the highlights I watched. They done really well to get that point, and could have felt unfortunate, especially with Neil Maupay. That shows how bad you are if Maupay scored against you. So I just think Klopp's got a. I'm surprised he ain't moaned because it's only 24 degrees heat, and that's why they're not doing well or something. Or if it's being a bit windy in Liverpool, because he just loves to complain, doesn't he? So
loves a good man.
The way they're playing, they'd be lucky if they get top 4. The way they're playing, and I never thought I'd say that this season. Everyone says, "Oh, Chelsea are the ones that you could." Liverpool can easily be caught out. So, and the one thing that did really annoy me, the one thing that I woke up on, I saw it was 0-0, and I thought, result.
Oh my god! Yes.
All I asked is, stupid German manager.
Greatly.
Who in their right mind takes off the best fullback called Trent Alexander-Arnold in the 59th minute when if he plays into the 60th, he gets a clean sheet. So do you know what? Just on that, I don't care if he scores hat-tricks of assists for the rest of the season, Klopp needs to go.
I think it's because of the Champions League coming up.
I don't care. I don't care about the Champions League. He lost me 5 points.
He did.
I need as many points as I can get. I had to rely on Ivan Toney to. That's when you got problems. But no, I do agree with what Ray said with Everton. They've bought some clever signings. I think Idris Gay and coming back as well. Obviously, he's going to settle straight back in because he was there before, wasn't he? Yeah. So then you've got him, Maupay. I think Tarkowski and Cody is 2 centre-halves. I think that's proper Premier League experience.
They're great signings. How did Cody get let go by Wolves? I don't understand.
Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. Yeah, I do really rate Connor Cody.
You think England international as well.
Yeah. But this is what I mean. Everton, they've got these players in, and I think every one of our clubs will go, yeah, we'd probably take him as a squad player. Right? Probably no one will take Maupay, but the players they brought in, the likes of Tarkowski, Dwight McNeil, for example.
I forgot.
Well, right, maybe not McNeil, but you know what I mean. They're just Premier League players.
If he's in
for where Everton are, I feel like they're good players. So I think they'll be all right. I think they'll stay up. Depends what I don't know what their remit is. If their remit is just to stay up, then I think they'll be laughing. If obviously they want to push for top half of the table and in Europe, then they're obviously well off of it. But in terms of staying up, I think Everton will be all right. Because a lot of people said they would go down.
Mid-table team, aren't they? It's not.
Yeah, I definitely think so.
Yeah, it stinks to mid-table, but like I say, compared to the season they had last year, considering they got rid of their most influential player, in my opinion, I think Everton would probably take that if you spoke to most of their supporters.
I don't know about most influential player, mate.
No, definitely. Okay.
Who's that?
Iwobi.
How could I forget?
Quality player, mate. 40 million for that. Tell you.
All right. I'm going to open this.
I wish we had them people still at the club.
I'm going to open this up to everyone as just a general question. One, I know it's still early doors, but is it Liverpool already prematurely out of the title race? And two, do you think that the intensity level that they were going at last season has caused them to burn out this season? Because they literally played every single game last season that was available to them. Final.
I'll go last because I've got a bit of an additional thing to say to this.
Just anyone answer that. Up to you.
I think they have. I think burnout. I think the way they played last season and the intensity has caused players to burn out because they picked up quite a few injuries already this season. So I think that has been a factor. I think they're not out the title race. I think they could still claw back and compete for the title. I just feel there's more twists and turns because Man City have dropped 2 points against Villa and Newcastle, which you did not expect. So it's literally this isn't unexpected sort.
Yeah, what I'll say about Liverpool is that they've had a terrible month, but I think they were 7th, but they're still in and around it. So when they get their players back, and if they can start clicking, then I don't know if they're going to win the league as such, but I think they'll certainly be in and around the top 4. And listen, Liverpool are always dangerous. Anyone can go to Anfield and anyone can get turned over. So let's see. I do think they've got the squad to do one competition. So whether they concentrate on the league or the Champions League, I think Klopp internally will have to try and make that decision, because I don't think they've got the firepower as such to go in all 4 competitions like they tried to last year. But let's see with Liverpool. You can never rule them out, can you? I think it's dangerous. And as I mentioned, although out of the top 6 clubs, they are bottom of that currently. In a month's time, it could look completely different. Klopp might keep Trent on past 60 minutes. He might start getting some fantasy points, start banging in hat tricks like George was saying. And who knows, it might be a different animal. But let's see with them. Let's see. You can't rule them out already, I don't think.
Yeah. Georgie boy?
So, I think if Man City carry on the way, I know they drew against Villa, but I think that's just a blip. The way Haaland is, he's just a monster. So I don't see how many points more Man City are going to drop. That would be my only worry. Maybe they're not physically out of it yet, but it all depends. Man City have got their bogey team at the weekend, haven't they? So,
yeah.
But who knows, George? I mean, they might want to go for the Champions League. I mean, Pep will want to go for everything, right? But
yeah,
I think given the chance, I think
the owners of Man City want Champions League.
Yeah, and that's it. And I think certainly after the World Cup and they get their players back from that and whatnot, then we can obviously then see how the landscape of the league is looking. If Man City are still running away with it as such, and Haaland's on 50 goals or whatever by January, then exactly, then who knows? But like I say, at the moment,
I think there's going to be plenty more twists and turns. Don't get me wrong.
100%.
Yeah. With Liverpool, I think what their problem is, they're still hung over. Like their fans, and it does put a smile on my face. Honestly, believed they was going to win all 4. And I think even parts of the club did. And then when they didn't, well, they didn't. They just won a couple of penalty shootouts. That's a big hangover to go from winning all 4 to present that Premier League, Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao, to just winning
the 2 domestic.
Yeah, clubs. So psychologically, I was listening to Robertson, and he was saying that it messes with your head, that sort of thing. So maybe it's going to take a bit of time for it. It's like when you saw with the England players with what happened in the Euros final.
Yeah.
So
when they lost they lost that, and then some of the players got abused on.
Well, no, just forget about the abuse. Just mean in general, it messes with your head, doesn't it? So,
mentally, it will take time to.
I wouldn't know. The only final I've been in this season, I won. So I'm right. But generally, I think, like Ray said, Liverpool are still around. If we're still having this conversation on a show in after the World Cup, and Liverpool are November, December time, 6th or 7th, sometime for the title, I think that's a big gap to claw back. And especially because you don't know how...
They did it last season, by the way. They did claw back a big lead. I think it was 14 points when everyone was saying, title's done, dusted in December. But to be fair, there were games in hand. Yeah, but there were games in hand, to be fair, with that one that needed to be played. But at the same time, thank God, by the way, that games in hand and all that, rescheduling, let's hope that doesn't come back at any point. But Yeah.
But what I
But they've
mean is
still
like
managed to
now
claw that
there's
back,
more, isn't
and
there?
City stumbled along the way, and Liverpool caught up with them. So it is possible, but at the same time, still early doors.
Well, I
And
mean, I think there's like 5 or 6 teams who are a lot stronger now.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah, and I mean, as well, I think Salah hasn't clicked so far
No.
this season. I know he
He seemed
signed
very
that new contract and whatnot, and certainly in my club,
been
I've
there for
seen
Jota.
players sign big money and not be the same after. But he's not clicking at the moment. Like I say, it's Salah's proved himself in the Prem. We know he's a quality player, so he might
year in, year out.
he might turn it round. But let's see.
Yeah.
And also, like I say, the fact that they don't have Sadio Mane they're playing there anymore is a huge miss. He was a massive player for him.
Pivotal.
And
You've
you
got no
bring
one
in
to
Darwin.
elbow anyone, have you?
Well, you see Darwin do it, he gets sent off, but Mane used to do that stuff all the time and used to get away with it. So,
So,
It's because he's an innocent man. Just look at the face. Can you send that off now?
can't look at him blind.
Shame. Sam, have we got any comments?
We've got a few. So we've got a Facebook comment just saying hi.
Hello, whoever that is.
Another Facebook comment that
It's not Zuckerberg, is it?
Welcome, Mark.
That I'll reluctantly put up.
I bet it's from Tom.
Tom said, "I'll throw a bottle at him." Imagining to Jurgen Klopp, I'd imagine.
Okay.
And then Abdi must be happy sitting on your perch today.
I'm not on a perch. You guys are on the perch. Still number one.
I don't like perches. I don't like birds.
Yeah. Always room to get knocked off it. So, but yeah, let's move swiftly
Carry
on.
on. I'm seeing you on Friday with that language. Yeah. So, I'll take over now. On that note,
Go ahead.
Right now we're going to talk about a very quiet weekend of no dodgy VAR decisions, nothing like that at all. Sorry, I've just woke up. So now we'll talk about Chelsea West Ham. So I will start with, I'll put him on the spot, Abdi first.
All right.
So generally, what did you think about the game? But we'll come to the VAR decision after.
So generally in the game, I thought Chelsea were more the dominant side in this in the game, but they just couldn't create good chances for themselves. And I think that's kind of the story of Chelsea so far. They've been struggling to create decent chances, and then West Ham score a scruffy goal, but you take them any which way you can. And then afterwards, they get the equaliser. Chilwell comes on off the bench, scores, sets up the second. Havertz gets it. And then Chelsea think they're on the way to victory. And then VAR struck. Cornet scores, but apparently Bowen fouled Mendy. Mendy was coming out to claim the ball, and Bowen was running in as well. And he kind of hopped over him at the same time, and it kind of his foot caught Mendy a little bit. It's a bit of calamity for Mendy. He goes down, makes a meal of it, and VAR overturns it. I think Mendy's had a stinker this season. He's become a liability for Chelsea. You look at the Leeds game, at fault for that as well, and it's becoming sort of an issue. And I don't know how he's gone from an absolute top keeper that everyone was raving about from the back end of the season prior, and then this season that just went. But he's just took a massive nosedive. Should have been a foul and the goal ruled out. I think West Ham should feel very hard done by with that. But then again, I can also see on the flip side, which is the annoying part of why they ruled out. It's because of the foot that caught onto him, and
football's a contact.
I think I think they'll give him more of the advantage to the goalkeeper as well, because it's in his area and he was on the floor going for it, and Bowen was running in. So, but it's a frustrating one. I'd be very pissed off as a West Ham fan right now.
Yeah, they was.
Yeah, they were, and David Moyes were.
They weren't
He was,
happy.
he was
They weren't happy.
No. I saw Declan Rice's tweet, saying it was a shambles, and
He's
yeah, it is a
mate.
shambles. The way everything's handled is a shambles. But yeah, it's baffling.
Declan
And
slacking. I remember the
yeah,
days when he'd just come out right after the game and just say it on live on camera.
I think they pulled him away from the cameras. But no, yeah, West Ham should feel very hard done by that. Another 2 points dropped. A valuable point taken away from them. Oh, no, it was not even 2 points, 3 points. Valuable point taken away from them. And yeah, it's one of those ones that can come back to bite them down the line. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
So Ray, football's a contact sport, though, isn't it? Sure, there's not enough contact for that to be given as a foul.
Well, we've seen enough decisions go against this weekend with certain contact and not, so who knows? But I mean, in relation to that, it was an absolute shit show of a decision, really, wasn't it? Let's be honest about it. Yeah, West Ham can feel very hard done by. In my opinion, it was a 50-50. And it was a bit of a goalkeeping error, to be honest, because I feel like Mendy could have had control of it. And for whatever reason, it just sort of slipped out of his grasp, whether he couldn't catch it or whatever. I don't really know. But yeah, I think if I supported West Ham, I'd be fuming because, yeah, they should have got something from that game. But, I mean, Chelsea, they're ticking along now, aren't they? And they're not playing well, but they are getting points.
That's all that matters, isn't it, really? What they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, Chelsea fans are used to that football for years and years now, so they probably don't really mind it. But yeah, like I say, they're still very much keeping up with the pack. So again, they've spent a lot of money. There's a lot of pressure on Chelsea, I feel, this season. I don't know if you guys agree, but
we were saying that. I've been saying that since the start of the season because Hugo normally hosts our show, Sports Chelsea, but they were that bad he had to go on holiday. So
I'm surprised Chelsea haven't tried to buy him.
No, he might not yet.
String a couple more wins and we might be able to bring them back.
Tuchel, for me, like that money they've spent, and I think it was me and Abdi were talking like Cucurella. Try that again. Cucurella. Like he just, I don't get it now. Even when I watched back the highlights, I saw Ben Chilwell come in. I'm like, what they buy him for? Apart from
it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, they must have spent 115 million on 2 left backs or 2 left wing backs. It is bizarre. Yeah. I know Chilwell had his injuries, but yeah,
I really like Ben Chilwell, but like
I think Chilwell was the better player. Didn't understand why they went and got Cucurella and left Chilwell out.
Just say don't go City, personally.
It's a very expensive backup because Chilwell did have that injury last year, and it kind of affected Chelsea because they lost that attacking output from him. But yeah, it's a very expensive backup if they brought him in for that.
Yeah. Sam, what did you think of the delightful VAR?
Yeah, it's just another error, isn't it? Like, it's really obvious that not much really happened. And like you're saying, like it's been echoed, you'd be absolutely livid if you was watching that. And that's what cost, because ultimately that's what did cost them the points, that goal. And it had been 2-2. There was still a little bit of the game to go. So it could have been anyone's game.
I think West Ham would have gone on and won it, personally, because the way the momentum was going. Because I was listening to that game and they scored, Cornet scored, but then he didn't. But I don't know, Chelsea, you're always in the game, aren't you? At the minute.
Yeah, it's just one of those ones, isn't it? It's just a catalogue of errors, really. It's never, it doesn't change each week. We seem to be talking about half the time just the same things every week. Decisions that should have gone the way. It's getting a bit dull moaning about it all the time, to be honest.
Oh mate, this is only the first game. We've got another 28 games to talk about yet. I I'll end this bit with you, Nick. So, when it comes to Chelsea, obviously we've all said this disjointed. Where do you think their issues are? Do you think it's the midfield still, or do you think it's just with all the new players? What's going on? What do you think?
I think midfield, they don't know what their best midfield is. Like, they've been playing Gallagher and Mount as a Conor Gallagher have been playing has a game, but more defensive midfielder, which is not his best position. He's more attacking midfielder. And Jorginho and Kovacic have been injured. They've had injuries there. Defensively, they've been a bit all over the place. They've not been as solid. I do think the goalkeepers have made quite a few mistakes as well. And just they've signed so many players that they need to bed in and gel. So I think it's a combination of all those factors that's meant Chelsea have not impressed me so far this season with their performances.
Yes, fair point. I think, especially Conor Gallagher, that's a shadow of what he does. It reminds me of the big fish in a small pond at Palace from a small fish in a big pond at Chelsea. I think he would have been better moving, personally. But he was suspended, wasn't he? Because he got sent off.
Yeah.
No, not for this game.
Was he
West
back?
Ham.
West
They
Ham.
played midweek. They played midweek, so
I forgot about the games in midweek. So do we have any comments, Sam?
No, we're still up to date with comments.
Stop being miserable, and everyone needs to talk in the comments. So we will move on to the next game, which is
Newcastle Palace.
Newcastle Palace. I'll leave you till last, Nick, because I know you're going to probably go on a bit of a rant.
Yeah.
It's just because I'm going to the North London derby in a few weeks, so I just want to get there. Right. So start with you, Ray. Did you see the game? If you did, what did you think?
I didn't see it live. I see the highlights.
Yeah.
And again, it's another awful VAR decision, isn't it?
Never.
The more and more I look at it, the more and more baffled I am.
I think this one's worse, to be fair. Like I can somewhat wrap my head around the Chelsea one, but I can't wrap my head around this one. So yeah.
It was his own player that sort of pushed him into the player.
Exactly.
And, so I really don't understand how they come to that conclusion. But I mean, outside looking in at Newcastle, they look a very well organised, solid side. I was kind of expecting them to do a bit of a Nottingham Forest and bring in 20 players this summer, but they've sort of kept the majority of the team they had last year and just added a few bits to it. Yeah, that's it. They bought everyone, didn't they? In between them and Chelsea. But I'm impressed with Newcastle. I think obviously their home atmosphere now is really, really up there, isn't it, in the Prem? It's a really difficult away ground to go to. So I think they'll be all right. And I like how they are building. They are building steady, but you can see the progress. And I think Eddie Howe's done a good job since he's been in there as well. You consider a year ago they had Steve Bruce and they looked like they were destined for the championship.
Well,
it's. But I think they look really good, and I'm also impressed with Palace as well. I think they look a good side. Again, another tough away ground to go to.
Yeah,
I don't think they'll finish top half as such, but they'll certainly give pretty much any team a game. So I mean, it's they've got a nice little group of young players, and it's interesting to see what Vieira's going to do with those guys, because I think they're a good little side.
Cool. That's interesting. Following on from what Ray said, then I'll ask you, Abdi. So I saw a BBC Sport headline today, and the question was: are Crystal Palace going backwards or progressing under Vieira this season? I thought that was a bit very, very premature for a question like that, but what would I ask you? Well,
so wait, what have their results been? They lost to you guys. They beat Villa, but everyone has.
Was draw
Apart
away
from
to
City.
Liverpool.
Not
Hold on,
City.
Yeah,
not
a draw
City.
away
everyone.
to Liverpool.
City didn't beat Villa.
They lost to
Yeah.
City 4-2, but they were 2-0.
Yeah. I think
They
it's
lost
still
to
early to
Haaland.
say. Yeah, they lost to Ireland. He's a freak. I think it's still too early to say on Palace. They sort of hit the ground running last year, and were the team to beat, and they were just sort of up there, and big wins against Spurs, and they beat someone else like 3-0, wasn't it? But it was like
Yeah,
they beat
moving on.
No, not you guys. That was April. I'm talking about the start.
Yeah,
They
they
had
beat
they had a
Liverpool.
good start. No, I don't think it was Liverpool. But
No,
no,
they
they
beat
had
City. I'm sure they did.
they did beat City last year. Yes,
Mm.
2-0 away, and that probably would have happened if they didn't have the freak up top this season. But I still think Palace will do well this season. I don't think they'll get relegated. I think they'll be fine. I think their main aim is to try and fight for top half again. I think they might finish around 11th, 12th though. I don't think they'll break into that top 10.
What
They
worries
have
me
the
with
quality
Palace
to.
is striker. I've said it all summer. I said it all summer. They
Mm,
haven't got someone who's going to score them 10,
yeah.
15 goals.
I mean, Zaha's their clinical man.
Yeah,
Everything goes through him pretty much.
you know
But
my opinion on Wilfred Zaha.
yeah, but still a good
He's
player.
He's not what I feel like Palace would need for me. Like to try if they wanted to try and break into that top 10, which I assume that's what the ambition would be. Eventually, they need someone who can score. They brought Odson Edouard in, and that's just not worked at all.
No, unfortunately, it hasn't because he came off that was a flyer for him. He came off, didn't he? Scored a double against Spurs, didn't he?
Yeah,
But
legend, but you know what I mean. It's just not worked.
legend. But yeah, in the game, it was just shots after shots after shots. It was like 43 shots, no goals whatsoever in the Newcastle Palace game. It was just shoot on sight. But the VAR decision baffled me. Absolutely baffled me. Mitchell literally pushes Willock into Guaita, and then basically the ball ricochets off Mitchell. So I don't know why that doesn't just stand, because Mitchell was the one who caused that incident of pushing Willock. So yeah, I can't wrap my head around that one. I can wrap my head around the other ones, but not that one.
No, I agree with that. So Sam, how do you think Newcastle started this season?
I think they can be nothing pleased with the start they've had this season. They just need to start getting a few more wins. But I think they're certainly
they're drawing a lot for me.
Yeah, they are going in the right direction.
Yeah,
they're not going massively with their money and just kind of buying a new team. They're building it slowly, and that's what they've got to do. So on that, I would be quite pleased as to what the kind of vision is at the moment.
Do you think Isak's going to actually bang at Newcastle, or do you think he's going to be a sort of one of those good players that's quite expensive and does bits here and there? But
I think he could be okay. I don't think he's going to be necessarily prolific in the amount of goals he scores. I think he'll score a fair amount, but I don't think he's going to set the world alight as such.
Yeah, I mean, I like him. It's just it's a lot of money to bring him in for, isn't it? But
a lot of money for someone who only scored 6 goals.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, but then again, I don't think there's that much pressure on Isak, because it's not like him coming into like a Man United or an Arsenal, one of the clubs that will get massive amounts of attention.
I
feel like Newcastle spending 60 million on him works out, because that it allows him to continue playing how he needs to play, and I don't think he'll be held to his head as much as it would have been if he played for a bigger club.
I think there's a lot.
I think he'll do decent.
Big money. Sorry, go on.
No, that's fine. That's all I was going to say.
I was just going to say, I think there's been a lot of players move for mega money, so maybe he's been a little bit lost in it. When I think of big money signings in the Prem, Isak to Newcastle doesn't strike me straight away. So maybe in a weird way, he can sort of go under the radar. I know Newcastle and Geordie fans he's their main man. So obviously he won't. They'll put his own pressure on him. But I think for the rest of the league, you kind of sort of forget about him a little bit. You kind of go, oh yeah, he plays for them. Oh yeah, he is a good player, and obviously he's shown against Liverpool what he can do. So yeah, again, I think that's a really good player, and it'll be interesting to see if Eddie Howe can get the best out of him. Because I mean, if he can get the best out of a player like Joe Linton, then my words, Isak's going to be the next Zlatan, surely.
Yeah, and he's Swedish, so it all makes sense. But from what I saw of the bits and bobs I saw of the game, he still looked good. It didn't come off of him in that game, but I think he'll tick along nicely for them. And then he's still young; he's only 22, so he could blossom into a real talent.
Definitely. So we'll move on. No, I'm joking, Nick.
VAR.
VAR overruled. I didn't see anything. Wenger's not here. So, right, floor's your Nick.
So with this game, I couldn't.
Popcorn.
With this match, I was following the updates because I couldn't get radio commentary because of Champions League deciding to move Chelsea to Saturday, which bumped Tottenham onto TalkSport 2. So,
that's never a good thing, is it? That's never a good thing.
Which Newcastle were going to be on. So Newcastle, they played well. They had loads of shots. Their Guaita was making loads of good saves. Nick Pope was doing well for us as well. He's made quite a lot of good saves. Defensively very solid, but I think creatively we lacked in midfield with Bruno and Shelby because of the injuries, and then St. Maximin, so that didn't affect us quite a bit. But on the balance of play, I think Newcastle should have won with the chances to. If they had taken the chances, then the controversy would not have been crucial as much. But I thought it should never have been disallowed. It could, because it does go into the goalkeeper, but it's because the Palace other Palace player pushes him into it. So didn't understand what just terrible decision. And Newcastle are going to complain to the Premier League about the decisions that have gone against the decision gone against them.
Yeah, it's going to be a big one. This one.
Every representative of the club's going to be standing outside the reception
because they are going to review the West Ham and Newcastle decision.
I think they've already done it and came out and said that they were wrong.
Yeah,
and that's about it.
Reviewed the Arsenal one as well.
But what's the best that can happen? Are they just going to sort of?
They can't do anything
because
they
can't replay the game,
can they?
So
moment, they're going to go, "Oh, sorry."
Exactly. They'll look at it. They'll have the meeting. They'll say, "Oh, we can do this, but we'll do this." Make a rule change, and then afterwards, down the line, it will come back and it'll.
Obviously, this will follow because there's after the Sunday talk. There's a question I want to ask each one of you, and it is to do with VAR. So
I have a question as well. So
it might be the same question.
It could be. It could be.
And if that's the case, then you need to stop nicking my brain cells.
Or mine, vice versa. Yeah.
So,
was you happy with a point, no, Nick, or not?
No, I was disappointed. I think we should, based on the chances, Newcastle should have had 3 points there. I think.
Cool. Who you got this weekend?
We have West Ham on Sunday at 2 p.m. on Sky. Because and we're playing Sunday anyway because West Ham got European game Thursday.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Mm-hmm. Is that home or away?
Away.
I'm not sure. I think we're
Newcastle away. Most likely away because they played at home.
Yeah, because Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh, I
think
don't
that
know.
was-
I know Arsenal are playing away and Man United are playing home Thursday.
I thought you were going to say Sunday. Then
Oh,
I
not
thought,
not on the
bloody
third,
hell.
not on the third. No, I was talking about the Sunday game. You guys against West Ham.
We're playing away. It's a West Ham.
Yeah.
Because the
Cool.
week after
So-
we've got Bournemouth at home.
So we'll move on to the last game on the Saturday, I think. That's right, isn't it, Abdi?
Yes. Just honourable mentions quickly. Ivan Toney,
Yeah, go on.
what a player. Hat-trick, 5-2. Brentford. Nottingham Forest, shambles. Steve Cooper. Is he under pressure with all the signings he's brought in? 2-0 up, then lose to Bournemouth, who just sacked Scott Parker.
Good goal
3-2.
by Dominic Solanke, though.
Yeah, about time they unshackled him. The best player in the championship, and he's been on the bench for most of the season. So
I think he
bit of a
was
weird one.
carrying an injury in pre-season at the beginning.
Perhaps.
That's why.
And yep. Southampton, Wolves, yep. Spurs, they picked up 3 points, played well against Fulham, 2-1. So yeah.
Just
and
want to
then
say
that's about it.
commiserations to Richarlison for scoring, taking off his top, celebrating, and it got disallowed. You Mel.
Hey,
I feel sorry for the Wolves new signing. The fact he got very bad
Yeah.
injury
Yeah.
against Southampton.
Klasnick, he's
Vlasic, yeah.
he's done his cruciate ligament, so
Diego
Aren't Wolves
Costa.
looking at
Potato
Diego
head to the
Costa now,
rescue.
though? To bring
Yeah.
in, aren't they going to bring in Diego Costa? Wolves.
And bringing
he's
in an
already
animal.
signed.
Madness.
A loose cannon.
Mr. Potato Head's up front for Wolves, so look forward to it.
I'm ready for the brutality. Let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll move on to the game that when we done our preview, we said, it's going to be another 5-6-0.
Matt was so
Hey.
brazen to say 10.
Yeah, Matt, for producing. That's not why he's not producing, by the way. Like we didn't sack
No,
him.
we sacked him. No, we sacked him. We sacked him.
No,
We said, can't be having
So
that.
it was actually 1-1. So we'll start with you, Ray. Did you expect that to be 1-1?
What game was this? Sorry, George.
Aston Villa, Man City.
No, I didn't expect it to be 1-1 at all. I expected maybe 3-1 City. Yeah, I mean, they had a lot of chances, City, didn't they? And I know Haaland did get his goal.
Thank God.
But you got to give Villa some credit. I've really slated them this season, but the way that they sort of stuck in that game, took it to 1-1, and then they were disallowed to have. They had Coutinho's goal disallowed, which they were very unlucky for, in my opinion. Another brilliant call from VAR. So yeah, I think.
But they called
they'll
it
be
that
happy with the
early. It
point.
was last week, wasn't it?
What was that? Sorry.
That they called the decision that early. It was last week.
Yeah, I think so, mate. I think so. But yeah, Villa are a funny side, aren't they? Because they're getting beat a lot, and then that sort of 5:30 game on Sky, they pull a result out. So I don't know. I can't make up my mind whether Villa were brilliant or City had a bit of an off day. I don't know what you guys think about it.
It's the latter. But maybe a bit of both. City are just City, aren't they? Because they're sport for choices and that. But obviously, I think that the offside, that was ridiculous. Like Gerrard said after the game, he ain't watched Match of the Day for a few weeks, but he can't wait to hear what the experts say about that. But I just don't see how you can blow that early. Whereas,
No.
They want us to understand these rules. So in one time, you play about 20 minutes after the whistle, and offsides get given, and then you just blow that quick.
But what baffled me, George?
Me.
Sorry to cut you, mate.
No,
but what baffled me is that they put the ball in the net, and I thought as soon as the ball goes in the net, they have to review it, right? Because it's a goal.
It depends on the whistle. It depends on the whistle. If they've whistled before the ball went in.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. That does make sense because the City players seem to stop.
They blew that whistle. Arsenal was still playing Villa. That's how early it was.
Good time.
So that mean they couldn't review it because he blew. if they blew it so early, they can't go back and look at it again.
Yeah, it's similar
I
to
definitely they
what
have
happened last year with when Fred went down and then Smith Rowe scored. It was like the referee didn't blow early. What was it? Was it early or was it what?
they gave that goal.
Oh no, they did give that goal. Sorry,
It took ages, didn't it? But they eventually gave that
Took about
goal.
20 minutes. Like Sam was at the second service station by the time that goal got given.
I was thinking of an example, but it was something where it was like they scored, and then it was like they blew up too early, and they couldn't really review it. I think something along those lines.
No, there was a few that happened.
Oh no, yeah, no. The referee didn't blow his whistle. That was the thing. Yeah. He didn't blow his whistle in that case because then afterwards it was like, reverse effect. But
it's just a very flawed system, though, isn't it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we've all been watching football for years and years, and the fact that, I mean, we sort of know what the rules should be, but we don't actually know the rules because they change every game by the looks of it. And the people making decisions, they can't even get it right either. So
I reckon they just discuss it in the WhatsApp group. Oh, what should we do today? Mix it up a bit.
It's crazy, mate.
Me. I don't understand the rules of football anymore. Like, I really don't. Like, the offside rule, I don't get. Like, how you can be half a earlobe or half a toenail offside. I don't get that. I don't get when you play who gets advantage, who gets what. I don't get. If you sneeze on someone, that'll probably be classed as a foul. Like some of the stuff we've seen players go down, there's
just
more
ridiculous.
There's more action in a soft X-rated film. Like, it's ridiculous.
Exactly. It's just ridiculous. Some of the way that some players go down nowadays.
Well, it's not even the players. So I don't blame them really, because if you want to get a pen, and it does endorse cheating or the dark arts, as they want to say, but if you know how dodgy the officials are, like, all you got to do is just brush past them, go down, you get a penalty or a free kick. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Like, you put I'll ask you this question. I'll throw this at you, Nick. So throw that. If this was the World Cup final, who we got? Who dives? Oh yeah, perfect example. Our captain, Harry Kane. If he's going 1-on-1 with a goalkeeper and he trips over himself or something, but he gets a slight thing, and we get a penalty of it when there's not enough pressure to put him down, you're not going to complain, are you?
No,
I think FIFA. I think FIFA handles it better though with VAR and UEFA.
I think Champions League. They've done it much better than Champions League and the
Euros and the World Cup.
Yeah,
but you get my point though. Just what
I do get what you're saying.
The players, the officials make it so easy for the players now. But anyway.
I mean, I've had this sort of debate earlier, and it was like, is the English refs just shockingly bad, and do we need to get sort of foreign refs from the continent in that seem to run the game a lot better? Because we're playing the richest league in the world, the best league in the world, but it's got the worst officials, no? So it's it really does.
Officials are as good as a conference.
Well, yeah, exactly. And, whether or not they need training up, they need replacing or whatnot. There's
something Laura Wood said this morning on TalkSport. And she was, I can't remember who she was talking with, Ali McCoy on that. And she was saying, could the referees be as bad because they're being like individuals and not being as teams? And what they mean by that, so say like you have the referee, you have the linesman, you have the fourth, like how they've done it, how other teams, how other countries do it. Yeah, and I think there might be something to that, because you look at, we're only sending 2 officials out for the World Cup, but there's other countries they've got like an entourage of people, and they've got to do something, because I'll say it, they're getting worse. They can't get any worse. I suppose I don't know. Like, I think they're rock bottom for me now.
I mean, what's a way that they could improve? Like, without like just sacking them off and bringing new ones in. Like, do you think there's anything they could actually do to
read
get
the
better?
rule book.
Well, yeah, that would help, wouldn't it?
Read the rule book and maybe put them
Some
in like
people
little
say-
mini groups.
Some people say mic up the ref so you can hear what they're talking about, and they're discussing, what they're actually going over, so people can understand, like in NFL and stuff.
They'll still be making that decision though, won't they?
They would, but then afterwards you can understand why they're making that decision a little bit better, and you can actually hear what's going into it and what they're saying.
It's worse when you're actually at games though, because you have no idea.
Yeah,
when they're trying to make a decision,
it's hard for the fans. Sometimes don't even know that a bar abuse happening because they don't get told.
Yeah.
Compared
The only indication we have at games is if controversial decision's been made and then the ref's told to go and look at the screen. That's when you know, oh, actually they've messed up here, so they might overturn it.
So I'll tell you what happens when I go football. I know what the VAR call is in my headset before the rest of the crowd.
Yeah.
So they actually tell you that, George?
Yeah.
Because where the headset is, where the headset is, like where they're commentating, they sit right behind the VAR, so you hear it.
Yeah.
So like everyone's saying, "Oh, is it a goal? Is it a goal?" And everyone's tortured. Like people you don't even know. They're like, "Is it a goal?"
Yeah.
It's like, "No, it's goal given." Don't know what you're worrying about. It's like a 2 minute. I'm not even joking, Ray. It's like 2 minute difference. I mean, that's right. That's the issue.
But the refs have obviously they don't have the hearing aids on, but they're all mic'd up, aren't they? They can all communicate with each other. So what you should be hearing on the decisions they're making, they should all be in, cahoots, if that makes sense. So they should all know what's going on.
It's free for all.
Yeah, so it's a right mess. It really is.
Cool. Right. Is there any final comments before I hand back over to Abdi, Sam?
There isn't, no.
Cool. Abdi?
All right.
Super day.
On to Sunday, Ray, the roaming reporter, was at the Brighton game. Why didn't you tell us about it? Before you do, 5-2, 5 goals for Brighton, not Brentford. Brentford did, but 5 goals for Brighton equals 5 defeats for Leicester on the bounce. Yeah, go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible game in terms of a neutral. Yeah, I mean, Leicester scored in the first minute, and then Brighton were leading 2-1 after about 15. It was a really crazy game. There was no control in it whatsoever, certainly from a Leicester point of view. And Brighton just they don't have amazing players, but they're so well organised and everyone knows their jobs. And they're so hard to sort of play through. And it's the complete opposite with Leicester. They're an absolute mess. I was speaking to a lot of the Leicester fans actually after the game. And obviously we know the team that won the league. We know the team that even won the FA Cup have a lot of these players. And they were saying that they're, completely shadowed of the former side that they were. It was bizarre. And again, there was a lot of controversial VAR calls. McAllister scored an absolute screamer.
Yeah.
But that was disallowed via, I don't even know if it was an offside or I think someone went for an overhead kick. I'm sat there.
I think it was an offside in the build-up. It was an offside in the build-up.
Offside in the build-up. But again, you're sat there in the stadium, you're watching it, and you have no idea. I'm trying to look through Twitter or whatever to try and actually find out what's going on. I need a headset, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, no, they'll tell you on the headset.
Yeah. But it was a crazy game. In the second half, Brighton just pulled away, and like I say, they haven't got. If Brighton had Ivan Toney up front, then they would actually be a serious side. They really would be. And I don't know whether that's just
European challenging.
Maybe.
And that's not. I'm not even.
I'm not even joking.
I believe that.
There's part of me that wants to joke, but generally they are a very impressive side, and I think that kind of is credit to their manager Graham Potter. because I think he's a really, really good manager. Is it unfair to say he overachieves with his teams? Because he was at Swedish Östersunds for a while, wasn't he? And it's Swansea done well with them. And certainly, if a Big Six team needs a coach within the next sort of year or so, I'd certainly be looking at him. I'd like to see him at England personally, because I think he could really improve the players we've got there.
It'll be worse than Southgate.
It can't be worse than Southgate. And yeah, man, it's an interesting one. And from a Leicester point of view, like I said, I touched on it. They're an absolute shambles. My favourite bit was actually singing "Sacked in the Morning" to old Brendan Rodgers. I quite enjoyed that personally. But yeah, I don't really know where they go from here, because they sold their most promising player at the back for fine, didn't they?
Yeah.
Vardy just looks like he's an old player, and Maddison and Tielemans look like they just really want to move on. So yeah, it's troubling times for Leicester, I think.
It's one of those ones where you are part of the team, and then afterwards players are leaving, and you're like you're wanting that move now and to move on, but because of the situation that they're in financially, it's been harder for them to get their moves and to be replaced adequately probably this summer as well. But Georgie boy, I want to come to you and say they're currently still rock bottom of the table. As Ray was saying, where do they go from here? Really, they got Villa next, who aren't, they got a valuable point this weekend, but is that a game where Brendan Rodgers loses that he's gone, or
it's El Sakako, isn't it? Really,
2.0, yeah,
2.0.
Yeah, it has to be really, because whoever, even if that's a draw, like that's not even enough for any. Like, so each team have got to win. Like Brendan, I'm surprised Rodgers ain't gone already, to be fair, but he must have been told that you're not going to have much money. We just need to sell. We're in whatever debt. Just by little comments he's coming out and making. I agree with Ray, like what he said, like Vardy just looks like an old player. Maddison, Tielemans, I don't think they'll be there in January. What I think
one of them could be coming to Newcastle in next window.
You won't get Tielemans, mate.
No, I think Maddison.
I think Maddison would really suit Newcastle personally. I think. I
don't even see Maddison at Newcastle. I don't know. I see Maddison at Spurs personally. I hope not, but because I like Maddison. I don't know. I don't know. Just like certain players you just don't see at a club. I just don't see them at Newcastle for some reason. I don't think Newcastle are looking for them type players, because Maddison's a bit similar to like what they've already got, isn't he?
I mean, you'll be able to tell me, but surely Maddison's better than Almiron. Like, come on.
Don't tell Jack Grealish that.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got good players, Leicester. This is what sort of baffled me a bit, because, they've got, you forget they've got like Harvey Barnes and these sorts of players, again, players that we'd take maybe not to start for our teams, but certainly feature on the bench or something.
Would you take Maddison at Arsenal, Ray?
I would, yeah. I would.
Yeah, I took him as a backup to Saka.
I'd take Maddison, I'd take Tielemans, I'd take Ndidi. I'd take any of that midfield three.
Anyone else?
Ndidi's playing at centre-back.
Well, Ndidi was playing at centre-back. This is the puzzling thing.
That was because their new player they got in to replace Fafana work permit hadn't come through.
Yeah. Fair.
So
I'm probably saying, let that thing go through. Let me go back to France.
Well, my thing is though with Tielemans, there's got to be a reason that no one went through this summer, and I
just think Leicester are just asking for too much money for a player with 1 year left on his contract. I think that's it.
But it'd be interesting to see what they was actually asking for now, because obviously we put 20. The most we put in for Douglas Luiz was 28 million. So if Arsenal offered near that, then fair enough. But unless it's already pre-arranged that he's going somewhere for a free, which is high possibility. But like you say, they have got good players. Like Drewsbury Hall, I think he's a very good player. He needs to move on so he doesn't get bogged down. I used to really like James Justin, but he had that really bad injury. So is he going to be ever the same player?
I mean, sorry to cut you, George. Again, if I was Leicester, and I just think Rodgers' time is done there, if I'm being completely honest. Again, look at Graham Potter. You know, Leicester are a bigger club than Brighton. See if they can tempt him away. But certainly Brighton are very, very well run. And if you did want Graham Potter, it's going to cost you a hell of a lot of money to get him out of there. So,
an arm and a leg, too much money.
Yeah. So whether Leicester will be willing to do that, I very much doubt it. But
because otherwise I can't see who else will go there.
No.
I'm sure they'll find someone. There'll always be managers to take a job. But I know people. Who knows? I know people always turn their nose up at a team that's struggling and stuff. Say, "Oh, who wants to go there?" But people, if they're out of a job or anything, they'll always want to go to a job. Like a similar thing. Like if an opportunity is there, you'll take the job opportunity.
Like
might not work out, but
yeah. But I mean, again,
someone's going to go there.
Yeah. But I was speaking with Leicester fans after the game, and they are a very good club, and obviously, but they've got fantastic modern history in the Prem. They've got a brand new £100 million training facility, so everything is there for them to maybe not be a top 6 club, but to be in and around it. So I don't know. Like I say, I just think Rodgers. He doesn't stay at teams for longer than 3 seasons normally, does he? So
Colo Toure.
I know injuries haven't helped as well in terms of Castagna and Pereira. So those are key players. Schmeichel leaving the way he did to Nice, that's a big blow as well.
And that Danny Ward doesn't look anywhere nearly as good as Schmeichel did.
No one's going to be as good as Schmeichel was.
Not nice at all.
Runs in the family. Nicky P, Seagulls are flying. How do you see them getting on with the rest of the season at the moment, the way they're performing? I know they had a defeat to Fulham midweek, but they bounced back in a big way. Nick?
Definitely. I think the next game is... I'm trying to think who they got next. I don't think... Not this game... Not this weekend, but I think the one after they got Liverpool away, Brighton, I think.
No, easy for Brighton then.
But they have done well. They've got good players, and then when they do have good players and they sell them, they demand high prices and get the best deals. Graham Potter is a very good manager, and I think it will get to a big club eventually. It's just Brighton are just really well drilled and know all
Bournemouth away, sorry. That's what they have.
Oh. So that should be winnable.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Right, let's move it on. Main event time.
What's Celtic Rangers?
Celtic Rangers. Nah. Georgie boy, let's just start with you.
You're brave.
Say your piece.
So we got the early goal with Martinelli. Typical behaviour, Old Trafford, dodgy refereeing. What's the surprise? For me, that's not a foul. Like there's not enough there. I get if it's against you, you're not you're moaning. If it's for you, you're happy. It's one of those things. like Martin Odegaard spoke after the game and said, the referee said to him, play on. It was fine. So, and now it's coming out is that the referee, Tierney's now saying, apparently saying that he didn't want to go against the decision. He wanted to be on the same like wavelength as whoever was doing the VAR. So, yeah, not surprised. But from what United looked shell-shocked after that. So I still clarify that goal changes the game. And then obviously United scored with Anthony. Good for him on his debut. And then we had chances. It just wasn't clinical. Again, same problem as Arsenal have had for a little while. Well, for as long as I can remember now. And then we got back into it. My boy, everyone has been. People have been moaning about. Oh, he needs to score. He needs to do this. Scores. Picks his times, doesn't he?
Does.
So, and I was really happy for him that he got the goal. Obviously, 1-1 back in it, and then we melted. Absolutely melted. It was like a chalk ice that I've left out on the side, not knowing. Like United went up the other end against the run of play, scored, and then they just fell apart. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you got to blame Arteta because of the free subs." I didn't get the free subs, if I'm honest, because we was on top. But maybe he thought something different would change it. You just don't know, do you? Hindsight's a big thing, easy thing. We just struggle at Man United at Old Trafford. Yeah, people can say refereeing decisions, and I was one of the people who said I never said that the refereeing decisions cost us the game. The refereeing decisions changed the aspect of the game because if you think 1-0 Arsenal, Man United's crowd shut up, and then you don't know. Arsenal could have grabbed another goal, and it's hindsight, I suppose, isn't it? Again, but I suppose we just have to move on. People say the first test we've had, we bottled. I wouldn't go that far. I think for 70 minutes, like people on Sky Sports Manchester said, we were the better side, but it's that naivety is still there. That's not going to go overnight. And I don't really want to bang on about that VAR decision, but that was the one thing that really got to me. And I will say, I'll hold my hands up. Rashford, he stood up and it was counted, so well done to him.
Yeah. Ray, what are your thoughts as another Arsenal fan of the game?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, United deserve that win. I might upset the two boys on here by saying that, but we just weren't good enough. I'm not upsetting you, no, but
I respect
we just weren't good enough. We just weren't good enough in both boxes. I think I see a stat, and I probably should have noted it down, but I think we had more touches in your box, but obviously you had half the amount but scored 3 goals from it. So, and obviously just defending it, I thought we looked a bit naive. I do really rate our defenders, especially ones that played, and I think that was a game that they looked like young defenders. I don't think, I think we just for whatever reason, maybe the occasion, I don't know, maybe they just sort of switched off at the wrong time. And we have been making mistakes like that in our previous games. It's just we've got away with it. And when you face a team with the quality United have, they will punish you. So it's a game we've got to lick our wounds and learn from quite quickly. But yeah, I mean, George touched on it with the referee and decisions. Those things happen. and I'm certainly not saying that's the reason that we lost the game. But it's just inconsistency. In the Brighton game, the Leicester first goal, there was an incident almost identical where Solly March was pushed over, and the play was allowed to continue, and Leicester scored from it. And a similar contact happened with Ericsson, and it was chalked off.
One thing I will say quickly, if that was what McTominay did as well, and the way he was playing, like the amount of times he threw Saka on the floor, I'll go there. If that was Xhaka, that's a red.
100%, especially that there was one that was sort of.
McTominay's been booked 5 times already this season. I might be wrong.
4 times.
He's a yellow card magnet. He's a yellow card.
Yeah, but that's, and this just goes back to inconsistency. I'm not saying that he deserves to be sent off or anything like that, but what I'm saying is that they should treat a foul as a foul, not a player.
I mean, I feel like there was an incident where Lokonga scraped down the back of Fernandez's leg with his studs down the back of his calf. No one said anything about that. So it'll happen. Like, there will be moments where things go for you and go against you. It's just part of the game.
No, that's
Ray,
Old Trafford.
did he want?
We never.
Ray, did he want
Old Trafford?
Did he want to finish off what you were saying?
Like I say, mate, we just weren't good enough in both boxes, and that's where we lost it. At 2-1, I think Arteta tried to bring on subs that would, gamble a little bit and try and get us a goal. It worked at home to Fulham, but it's a different caliber away at Old Trafford. So, like I say, it's always stings when you lose to United. You seem really nice, mate, but most of the United fans I've been speaking to...
We have dickheads.
Yeah,
most of them are twats. It's fine. He's the only one who's away.
I get the feeling they've had sort of these tweets saved, especially with the all or nothing. They've had this material they've been wanting to unleash on us for weeks and weeks, and when we finally lose a game, it all sort of comes to the surface.
And that's just Richard Keys.
I will say you guys do give it back as good as
100%, mate. No, that's I couldn't
it's just part of the what Man United and Arsenal have become, and what it's always been really that.
Yeah, I mean, there's always been that rivalry. It's just when we were both at our best. Well, when we were at our best,
and now
the internet wasn't a thing, really, was it? There was no social media, so we never really had this.
Yeah,
but like I say, you did deserve it on reflection, and we just have to learn from it. I think our target is to get into the top 4. And as long as we beat the teams that we're meant to beat, so it's only Fulham's and it's only Aston Villa and all these, as long as we beat these teams, win our home games against the big 6, I think we'll be all right. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, congratulations. And also Bruno Fernandes is my new most favourite hated player. I can't stand the guy. Really can't stand him.
I know a lot of people can't.
He does his bloody whinge.
But
yeah.
One thing I will say quickly about the game, someone was saying that it's quite similar to the way Tottenham beat City last season. Just like on the counters out and then the way it was breaking down. So that might be.
They do play very similar to Tottenham, and that is a compliment to United because they are well organised.
Kind of, yeah. I'll get into my thoughts in a little bit, but I respect your honesty with your assessment. I pretty much think you've summed that up pretty nicely. Nicky P, neutral in the only neutral here. What are your thoughts on the game?
They don't like United.
There's only one United,
Newcastle.
I thought Arsenal, they had quite a few. I think they weren't clinical in front of goal when they had the chances. Like Odegaard, he should have scored when Jesus gave him the ball. How he didn't take that, and then there was quite a few shots, but they were missing off target. And then defensively, you weren't very good for at least 2 of the goals, like the 2 Rashford goals. Like you just let Man United. Arsenal lost the ball and then Man United just broke on you and scored. So like counterattacks. But I think the game result could have been different if that if the goal in the first half had stood as I thought it should have done, because I didn't think that was enough to disallow it. I think it's contact, but I don't think it's enough for it to be a foul. So that's what I thought. But I think Arsenal they'll bounce back in Thursday night Europa League. They'll win that, and then they'll beat Everton next week. So, but I give credit to Man United for the fact they bounced back from the fact they lost how badly they were the first two games to win 4 in a row.
Yeah, you have to give credit.
And the fact Man United went both and they dropped the massive. The fact they dropped Ronaldo, Maguire, and gone with more younger players has helped them quite a bit.
Yeah.
And they're playing more as a team. That's why, with Maguire, like Varane and Martinez, whatever we all say, well, not all of us, but you don't support United. That's their best two centre half.
Definitely, but I think didn't one of them come off injured?
Martinez did towards the end. I think he's fine. I think he.
Yeah, United fans are thinking
had a bit of. No, I think he's fine. That's what came out afterwards. I think he just jarred something a little bit. I'm not sure, but yeah, he seems fine. Sam, I know we were talking before the show started about the game a little bit. What are your thoughts? I know you're down in Manchester, but how are you feeling?
I'm going to look at this a bit differently. Yes, we were shocking at the back, but the way that we were building up the play and the way that we kind of, for the majority of the game, dominated the ball, I think that's quite good, because normally we go to Old Trafford and we don't really get much of a sniff. So in that sense, I'm quite pleased. I think all's been said about the call. But yeah, you can't play amazingly every game. We've still got that kind of... We had it a little bit against Villa as well, where we couldn't finish our chances. So that needs to be looked at. But the sort of build-up play, Zinchenko wasn't fully fit, I don't think. He looked off it.
I don't think Ødegaard was either, to be fair.
No,
Ødegaard
I agree. Those two. That's why they both got taken off, because they just weren't fit enough.
Yeah.
There was doubts before the game that they would even start. Certainly, I think they sort of travelled. It was given in the news that they were travelling kind of last minute. So, yeah, from a game
it's not worth risking just for one game, like.
Yeah, but it's a game that we had to try and win. I know, obviously, we lost it and we're still where we are, but you know, it's a game that it was a real statement if we could have got a result up there.
Yeah, but I mean, if you keep them on and then they go off injured anyway, you'd.
True, but I think
what's happened with Smith Rowe, he was good. I don't even know if he come on in the end, but I know
Smith Rowe did come on.
Yeah, but now he's injured. So what was the point?
He was injured. He was injured in the warm down.
Yeah. So, and that's what I mean. In that sort of thing, when stuff like that happens, you kind of have to. That's probably why Arteta made those 3 subs, and I don't think people might not think about that, because there's still 30 odd games left. So
I just think
you do want to get a result, but not at the detriment of 2 of your better players.
So the thing is with Ødegaard is he sets our tempo for almost everything we do, attacking wise, and even works back as well. And I don't know whether the player that he was going to be replaced by would have the same impact. So I think Arteta had to play him at some point.
Would have been Vieira, wouldn't it? Probably.
Would have been Vieira, and that's a bit of a baptism of fire, isn't it? So
where's your debut, mate?
Well, exactly, you know. So I think, you know, Ødegaard is our captain. And and he obviously has his full trust, Mikel Arteta. So I think that's why he started and played. But as you said, he had that chance. I think he needs to be a bit more selfish. I think we are a bit polite sometimes. It's sort of no, you score, no, you score.
I don't think we're ruthless enough to be classes.
No, we saw it against Bournemouth that we can be, but
if you want to compete with those top teams, you've got to be ruthless like City are.
When you get a chance, you have to take it, and that's where I will give United credit, because the chances that they did create, they certainly did take, and like I say, we just have to learn from it. But certainly with us, last season in particular, when we lost games, we lost them in batches, didn't we? We'd lose 2 or 3. So this is the season where we need to try and fix that, and if we are going to finish in the top 4, then certainly we can't be losing 2 or 3 after this. We need to respond well.
Yeah. Sam, did you want to finish off what you were saying before? Sorry.
No, I think pretty much everything's been said. I think we just need to forget about it and just bounce back.
All right. Were there any comments?
There isn't. Just a side note, we are still top, so it's not really the end of the world, is it?
No. I was going to say my thoughts on the game. First 15 minutes going into it, I feel like we're the better side for the first opening 15. I think Arsenal just sitting back, waiting to see how we were sort of going to be approaching the game. And then I think after that, you kind of took over the momentum and it shifted with you guys for the large majority of that first half until you scored that goal disallowed. Well, I will say it was soft. It was a soft foul, but I've seen those ones given. I can't. I will say I'll put my hands up and say I can't answer that honestly, because I will be saying it from the perspective of a United fan, and I will always have bias with it, so I can't answer it honestly. If it was the other way around, I'd probably be pissed off. But then afterwards, hey ho, it's one of those ones, you know. I've seen it happen before. I've seen it given, I've seen it not given. So it could have gone either way really with that one. And I feel like Paul Tierney looked like he was about to give it as a goal. But he stood with a VAR decision. But yeah, and I think eventually someone's going to break the mold of going over to the monitor and sticking with that original decision. But we'll see.
I want to get your thoughts as well, just quickly.
Go on.
The ref was from Manchester.
I'll stop you there. I have literally been, before the game, I have heard that days in advance, he's from Manchester, he's from this, that, the VAR's from Manchester as well. I say bollocks to that, because I think that is just an excuse and a crutch for when you guys potentially lost beforehand, as a reason to say, oh look, they're stacking the deck against us. They don't want us to win. They don't want us to do this. I just think that's an excuse that people are using, and I can't get behind that one. I can understand where people are frustrated with the VAR decision, but
it happens every year at Old Trafford.
But the whole saying he's from Manchester thing, I highly doubt that the referee, the PGML, whatever they're called, would allow people without actually properly screening them and disclosing what teams they support. And for the record, apparently he's a Wigan fan. Yeah, I do. I don't think he's a United fan.
You believe they tell the truth who they support?
I think they'll have proper screenings more carefully than they actually. It's not. I don't think it's as simple. I don't think it's as simple as saying, "Oh, I'm a Wigan fan," or I'm a United fan, or whatever. I think they'll go a bit deeper than that and see what their family support, and do more background checks in terms of what season ticket they have, if they went to games growing up as a young kid. You know, I think it's more simple than what team do you support, because anyone could just say one team. I think it's a bit more complex than that, and I think it's just an excuse that people are using that they had ready and they are using now, and I think it's a very weak excuse. But getting back to the
Spoken
game.
from a true United fan who team
I
gets
think
decisions every time.
I think it's a weak excuse.
But
that
you
one.
would say that though, like because
No,
you,
but saying the
decisions
referees
that-
from.
But
But
let me
saying the referees
finish.
from this or that is like, I think it's a weak
Let me
excuse.
I'm
finish.
just switch it up a little bit and ask that same question.
How
to
do
the
you know he's
person
not a City fan?
that has-
There's more than one club in Manchester, you know?
Yeah,
that
but
has
that's
How do you know he's
non-biased-
not a Bolton fan? Come on.
Nick,
Come on.
I'll ask you that question. If, from a non-biased point of view, you don't really care for Arsenal or United as much as we do.
He's falling asleep.
No, sorry. I'm still here. But Mike Oliver doesn't do any Newcastle game because he supports Newcastle.
There you go. Literally, there you go. If he supports Newcastle, he wouldn't be allowed. They wouldn't be allowed to do it. It's just an excuse. I just want to finish with my assessment of the game. I don't want to actually talk about that because I think it's just a bunch of bullshit.
You don't like the difference.
No,
in opinion.
it's not even that.
It
No, it's not even. It's not even a difference of opinion. I just think it's an excuse.
It is because you.
Okay, I'll ask Ray. I'll ask
Ray.
Ray, do you think that just because Paul Tierney's from Manchester, it makes him a United fan instantly? Do you think that they hired him, they put him in charge of that?
Not necessarily. I know we touched on it earlier about potentially getting foreign refs in and all this.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that there isn't enough diversity in the referees that we have.
Probably not.
Throughout the country. I don't know how many of them are Southern to the ratio of how many are Northern. I imagine a lot of them are. They probably are from the Greater Manchester area, but it kind of is what it is, really. I do think we need to get a broader range of referees. Again, I think that would personally improve it, but in the isolated incident that Paul Tierney has United alliances, he's from that area, but I wouldn't say that that's the reason that he gave certain decisions.
There you go. I just think it's a bit flimsy.
This is where you're getting it twisted.
No, but I'm not. Because Chris Kavanaugh's from Manchester as well, and he refereed a Manchester derby as well.
You want to say?
No, go on. Say what you need to say.
So what most Arsenal fans are saying is not that Paul Tierney's a United fan, that he has a grievance against Arsenal, and every time we go to Old Trafford, and Ray and Sam can pick me up and tell me if I'm wrong here, we do not get any decisions. When we go to United, there's so many I could name right now. But you're going to come back and say, oh, yeah, but it's fine because that decision's gone for your club. Arsenal, when it comes to officials, get treated differently than everyone else does.
I would say... I'll go on. Sorry, Sam.
I wouldn't go on. I wasn't meaning that point in terms of he is a United fan or he isn't. I was meaning it in terms of that. Have they not got enough referees to avoid that? Go right. If we've got one from Manchester, let's have another one from, I don't know, Southampton, just to avoid that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's almost like they're trying to make things
from Manchester or wherever.
It's almost like they're trying to make things in order to wind people up. It's almost like that, really.
Like when Mike Dean referees a London team, what's the first thing people say? And that ain't just Arsenal. You have Tottenham fans, Arsenal fans.
I don't know. I don't know what team Mike Dean supports. He's a Tranmere fan, isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, well,
Tranmere fan. I've seen him. There's literally been evidence of him at Tranmere celebrating. He's come out and said it multiple times as well.
I'm sure Ryan Reynolds is a Wrexham fan as well because he's bought him.
No, I doubt he's a Wrexham fan.
But what I'm trying to say is, like,
can I finish the game, please?
From an Arsenal fan point of view, we have an agenda when it comes to officials. That's how we feel. Whether people laugh at that and all that, like. Some decisions have gone against us, but at Old Trafford, it is well known you do not get any decisions at Old Trafford.
All right, cool. I just think Arsenal fans love the conspiracies with the referees and all that stuff. Okay, I just want to continue with the game. I've said enough on it. But going back to the game, I think after that decision was made, I think we were still sort of rattled by it. And I think Arsenal came on and they had good pressure. I think Jesus was a problem during the game, but I feel like we still. I think he was good, but I feel like we still marshaled him in and limited
Seems like
him
he kept moving
to have.
around. That was my only
Yeah,
thing.
I think we limited him, but I think he still wasn't. He was a bit of a nuisance. But yeah,
Did well.
the goal that the first one, the opening goal, absolutely loved it. It was pretty much what sort of a glimpse of what we can do under Ten Hag in terms of took a throw in, everyone touched the ball from front to back and back to front. I think it was like 18 passes before it ended up with Anthony putting it in the back of the net. And then yeah, things changed a little bit. I think saw out the first half, went into this opening of the second half, and we came out really poor in the second half. I think you guys were the better side for the first 15 minutes as well. I feel like we still defend well enough, but that we were inviting a lot of pressure on, and you made it count when Saka scored. I know. I think people were shouting for a penalty when Saka went down, but he'd already taken the shot. That's a FIFA. That's a FIFA thing that you get a penalty after taking a shot.
Yeah, it'd been
then
like the Emirates, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Then we took off. Who's it? Anthony. We took off Anthony, brought on Ronaldo, and this is where I feel the game changed because of the fact that Rashford was playing through the middle. And I don't think we're using him to his full potential. And this is where Rashford's more deadly off the left hand side, cutting in. And I feel like he caused a problem because as soon as Ronaldo was in the pitch, I feel like your defense was like, all right, we're just going to push up now and push up the pitch higher. Because before you were worried about Rashford getting in behind, and you kind of fed into that a little bit. Because Ronaldo's not as quick as he was. It wasn't going to be a problem with the long ball over the top. So pushed up, but Eriksen, Bruno finds Rashford. Rashford breaks past Saliba, Gabriel, and boom, puts it in the back of the net. Goal 1, and then you guys made the 3 substitutions, and I feel like you lost your stability in that game with the changes that you made. I think Zinchenko. I find it weird that you didn't bring on Tierney, a natural left back, for Zinchenko, but
I wonder if he was
sure.
injured or something.
Potentially, who knows? But that was a baffling one, and then it happened again. Eriksen broke away, beautiful run, slots it to Rashford, easy tap in, and yeah, I just feel like I feel like you guys did very well and shouldn't be too disheartened by the result. I do think the defensive mistakes cost you and a bit of naivety. And that's the one thing I was saying going into this game. I feel like that there is a chance at beating Arsenal in the sense that they have the goals that they conceded. They haven't really kept a clean sheet as such, bar the first game. And most of the goals they concede are either defensive errors or mistakes. And I feel like we capitalized on those well. And I feel like we defended very well and kept you at bay for the majority of the game. So it's a big turnaround from where we were with the Brentford result. 4 wins on the bounce. Good stuff. I like to see the consistency. There's still a long way to go. It's still early doors. I think there's a lot of improvements to be made, and I feel like we are slowly starting to move in the right direction. And yeah, I'm just happy that we're not losing every week, pretty much, because for a solid period we were just loss after loss after loss, and it was just depression settings, and it was like, but being a United fan at the moment is pretty decent, and hopefully we can continue that going into the
Do you think
international break.
you've turned that corner though, or do you think it's a bit of a flash in the pan at the moment?
I'm a bit nervous about if it's just a good run form or a delayed manager bounce, because we didn't get the manager bounce in the Brighton and Brentford results, but I feel like Ten Hag sort of figured it out a little bit, what he wants to do with the team. I feel like he's trying to got his players in, dropped the players that he thought aren't good enough and aren't working, and then just sort of, I think he earned their respect a little bit after the Brentford game. Whatever he done, I think there was a lot of people saying that he dragged them in on the Sunday to do like a 13-mile or kilometer run, and he took part himself, and whatever else he done in that week, it's just, I feel like he's built trust with them, And they look like, as I think George said earlier, they look like they're playing as a team now rather than individuals. And I want to say a lot of people criticizing McTominay and why he's still being picked, but fair play. I hold my hands up and
I think
say
it
he
shows
fully deserves
trust.
his spot in the team. It is, and every big call that he's had to make, he's absolutely smashed it out of the park. I think a lot of people have been scratching their heads every game, every team sheet that comes out. It's like, with the Liverpool game, it was like, oh, Ronaldo's on the bench. Okay. Maguire's on the bench. All right. McTominay's starting. Oh, wow. Okay. And then afterwards, we managed to get through that, and it was like, yeah, all right, cool. And everyone thought Casemiro would jump in on the Saturday, and it was like, no, same team. And then
Even a
people like
big call to
McTominay
drop
still,
Maguire.
yeah, it was like McTominay's still playing, Langa's still playing. It's like, oh, why are they playing? And then we see out the Southampton game, and then we get to the Leicester game, and again, same team again, and a lot of people are still saying the same things. Why is Casemiro still not playing? And it come to this game, and I feel like in each of those games, McTominay played very well, and I feel like credit to him. I think Eriksen's absolutely phenomenal signing in terms of for
He's been a
free.
good player for you, Eriksen.
He's been absolutely smashing it. You know, he's kept that level that he was at Brentford. You know, where he was performing at top level, and brought over here and for a free. You know, with also with the heart condition, he's absolutely running around like a madman more than anyone on the pitch. You know, and that's mad to think about. But yeah, I think Varane and Martinez complement each other well. Martinez goes in aggressively and tries to get to people, and Varane is comfortable sweeping up. I don't want to see any other partnership but Varane and Martinez. When Maguire came onto the pitch, I was nervous. I was like, oh god, they could score two here easily, probably. And instantly Maguire gets booked, and it's like, come on. But yeah, no, I don't know if we have turned the corner yet. I feel like if we get past Palace and Leeds, then I think we have, but there's still a long way to go. In terms of where we want to be ultimately. But I feel like Ten Hag's got his players in now, and he's just sort of trying to get that across. There will be rotation because of the games that are coming up, the Europa League starting up. So, yeah, I'm just hoping that we can push for top four properly and get back in there. I think there's a decent chance. It's still early doors. Liverpool haven't had the best starts. Chelsea a bit wishy-washy. Arsenal, as I said, shouldn't feel too disheartened. Still top of the league. Still performed well. I feel like you gave a good account of yourselves. But yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like we just deserve that little bit more and work for it that little bit more. But fair play. I think you've shown that you're not just going to roll over, and you're still going to come and play the way you're playing. And if you can do that against the big sides at home, I feel like you'll be fine. I feel like you'll be fine for the rest of the season.
Yeah,
I don't feel like this is the same Arsenal from last season,
I really don't feel like that was a 3-1 game. That's the thing. And I think the scoreline makes it look a little bit worse than it was.
Yeah. I just think
2-1 was probably fair. And like I said, we did gamble. We did try and change the system a little bit, try and bring on some more attackers or some fresh attackers to try and get that goal. And we had to gamble because we were losing. And unfortunately, we got caught out. So
yeah,
it's one of those.
When it was at 1-1, it could have gone either way. It really could have gone either way.
Yeah. And that was the naivety in our defence that I was talking about a bit earlier on. That when we are 1-1, when we are away from home at a big away grounds like Old Trafford, you need to be a bit clever. And I think we just need a bit of time to learn that. They're still relatively young, so let's see what happens.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything else to say?
Nope. No, I'm all good.
No? George, do you want to ask you a question on VAR, or are you done?
Yeah. It might be a similar one, but we'll do it as a quick, obviously, because I know we've gone on a little bit longer than we
Yeah.
So my quick I'll go around quickly. Question is, do you think that it's the officials that need to change, or if it's VAR itself? So I'll start with you, Nick.
Similar lines.
I think it's not the technology; it's the officials using it. I think they need to change the officials more than the VAR. I think.
Cool. Abdi?
I think it's both. I think it's a combination of one, the officials using it, but then two, sort of the way it's being used and implemented. VR as a principle should work, and there shouldn't really be as many issues as there are. But yeah, I feel like it just needs to be ironed out, stripped back, make it basic, make it understandable for everyone, make it more transparent, and then you're onto the flyer. Just link up with UEFA, FIFA, have a conversation with them, and you should be fine because the way they use it works well. Just bring that in and just use it like that.
I don't want to break it to you, but that sounds like common sense, mate.
Too much.
Yeah. What about you, Ray?
Yeah,
Not the common sense bit. I meant the question.
Oh, you won't get any of that from me, mate. Yeah, with the VAR, I think we just need to, as you said, strip it back. It needs to be, obviously we've got goal line technology that works for the most part. I think if we use
except
VAR
for that one time.
But yeah, start for
One time it failed on
relegated
Bournemouth as well, Abdi.
Yeah.
But that was a couple of seasons ago, and that can happen, right? But what we see is VAR is that it's used to literally referee everything in the game, you know, like all the small minor details, and it almost gives the referees a bit of a way out because they feel like they're going to be bailed out by their mates. I don't know whether we do something like we have a challenge system like they have in tennis or rugby or whatever. And if we only use VAR for, say, red cards, penalty incidents, something like that, because at the moment you can't use a computer system on something that's objective, and obviously the rules in football are, hence why we're talking about soft fouls, and this was given in one game and it wasn't another. So the people running it need to shape up and really improve, because again they're all over the place. It's not consistent. Every game is different,
pretty much.
And yeah, we've got the technology and it does work, but we just need to be better with it, in my opinion.
Cool. And finish with you, Sambo.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both if you're looking at it in the grand scale of things. But if you was to say you've got one or the other, I think it's the officials and how consistent they are, and they're each having their own kind of rule book. I think it also puts us at a disadvantage when you've got an ex-referee doing VAR as well. I think that should be someone that's not connected to the yeah,
Sam, do you think they should? Sorry to cut you, mate. Do you think they should have players involved?
No.
I think it should just be someone like.
On it.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the biased Man United pundits, but do you know what I mean?
No, I'm just saying. Have you seen the state of some of the opinions of people that have played the game? We could do a better job in the VAR room. Just because they play football doesn't mean that they have a good opinion.
Yeah, I'm not saying. How do I word this? I'm not saying they make every decision.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actually being on the pitch and knowing how certain scenarios play out.
Yeah, I get you.
Surely that's
probably
better than
not.
Just having.
Probably not. Yeah. I think you've got to have someone that is kind of unbiased in both senses, and just kind of sees each decision as what it is and assesses that, not anything else. So someone kind of disconnected, if that makes sense.
Yeah, fair enough.
Cool.
George, did you have anything to say?
I think it's the officials that work with VAR, not. Well, I think the officials that we've got are pretty shit anyway, but I think it all stems from actually what they're watching, because I don't know, and I just think the rules, they're not very clear cut, are they? Whatever way you look at it, like even look at like decision like offside, when they're meant to blow the whistle, who gets advantage, because strikers don't really get advantage that much now, do they?
They're starting to in the terms of offside and stuff.
Depends if they're like hairlines offside, doesn't it? Like
no, I think they've given that. They've changed that this season as well.
But yeah, so that's mainly all I wanted to say. But I'll pass back to Abdi.
Yeah, I was just going to say quickly.
Whatever he wants to say.
I forgot what I was going to say. It was to do with VAR. I forgot what I was going to say. It was like
Abdi's become head of VAR.
Maybe, probably. Who knows? No, I'd forget it. Forget it. We've spoken about VAR enough. I'll probably remember it after we go off there, but it's just bugging me. It's bugging me.
But I mean, do you want me to do this bit, or do you want to do it?
No, it's fine. What were you going to say, Ray?
Sorry, mate. I was just going to say, almost in every game, though, there was some sort of issue with VAR. You know, it ruins an aspect in pretty much every Premier League game, in my opinion. So
I remembered what I was going to say. Thank you for speaking.
No worries.
You gave me time to think. I was going to quickly say, do you think people? I know that this week was an absolute stinker from the referees, but do you think people are making it out as bad as it is, or do you think that for the most part VAR and the system is getting stuff correct in its way for most weeks, majority of weeks, but then after it will drop the occasional stinker. So
it's so inconsistent. It's so inconsistent because one week an incident will happen, and then the following week the same thing will happen, but with a different outcome. Again, the rules seem to change week on week, and it's ultimately the guys making those decisions, isn't it? You know, you can have a brand new Ferrari, but if you've just passed your test or you don't know the highway code, you know, you're gonna struggle to drive it, aren't you?
Don't tell my brother that.
On today's episode of Wacky Races.
So yeah, I mean, like I say, I think we sort of listening to you guys. It seems like we're all in favour of it, but the guys running it just need to,
fine tuning. Some fine tuning, proper fine tuning, because it was really bad at the start, and then afterwards it got fine, and it was doing its thing. There will be the odd occasional thing that pops up here and there, but for the most part, I feel like it got majority of the stuff that it needed to correct. But yeah, then afterwards you occasionally like one step forward, two steps back a little bit sometimes. So yeah. Well, that's enough of the VAR talk and enough for one evening. So let's tell the good people where they can find you. Is there any comments before we go?
There isn't.
No? Okay. Sammy boy, where can the good people find you?
Sam Wilson AFC, with the one being in place of the I.
Nicky P, where can the good people find you?
At Nicholas Pages on Twitter.
Goody.
Chris Sandy trying to beat someone up there. Nicholas Pages on Twitter.
Yeah. My co-host, lovely co-host for the evening, Georgie boy. Where can the good people find you?
You can find me at ClockendGeorge on Twitter.
And you can find him in the clock.
Having a go at Richard Keys every day, normally.
Probably, yes. And Ray, thank you for coming on. Where could the good people find you if you're on Twitter or?
No problem. Thanks again for having me, guys. It's been a real pleasure.
Pleasure's ours, mate.
So yeah, if you want to on Twitter, my name Ray_Kasim, spelled with a C. And otherwise, I'll be skulking around the Emirates Stadium somewhere. So if you do see me there, come and say hello. But yeah,
yeah. You can follow me on Twitter if you like at aabdullah26, at AABDULLAHI26, and you can follow all of us on Twitter at Golden Goal TV. We have Discord, Facebook, WhatsApp, all the good stuff. You know the drill. Please like, share, subscribe. From myself, Georgie boy, and the whole panel, good night.